All right, it's Clem and Kiwian. It is not a 0-0 score, or it is not a 2-0 score. It is, in fact, 0-0. There we go. Now we got that one fixed. This is Celestials. This is Vanguard. It's Clem. It's Kiwian. Let's move this goal overlay up a little bit so it's not blocking things, and we are just about ready to go. Game 1 on the Bone Zone. It's the Boneyard. This map that 2 patches ago, 2 tests ago, was in testing. Last patch, they added it as a ladder map. And now, we're getting to see it a little bit more. Certainly, they've changed. It's funny. All the forest map, the one desert map that was previously like the one desolate map is now no longer super desolate. It has a it's not quite as desolate as it once was. So that's fine. Anyways, Vanguard Infernals. It's gonna be fun to take a look at whether Clem has an answer to the chaos, because that at the end of the day is the most important question. Let me see if I can move this over a little bit. Come on. All right. There we go. Now that's a little bit more centered. Yeah, so again, the question is whether Clem can withstand this aggression, because this build, this idea that we're seeing top used right now, Kiwian used right now, is aggression. You run across the map, you drop some creation chambers as quickly as possible, pretty much as you have money for it. Some of them are, of course, some not. Depends on exactly what you want to do. You run the arc ship across. It gives you high ground vision. It heals some of your units. It's a really powerful thing. And then you start to move forward. Now Kiwian. Clem is doing the aggression. I had that backwards. We're fine. I love, by the way, how this seems to be consistently a thing, because you can't control exit and change it. Player 1, which is I'm assuming the top bar, is always on the bottom of the map. So yeah, this is getting me every time. That being said, notice Kiwian is not going for some sort of quick expand. He's got a bob over here now. He's going to take a look. He's like, there's aggression here. I see these energy batteries already going now. They're surged as well. Okay, I know what's happening. I know what's up here. Okay, fine. But what I really like about what Kiwian's doing here is not only is he going and dealing with this, also this collection array on the natural, it's not even killing the hedgehog. Kiwian opens with a hedgehog here. It's fantastic for him, because, well, now he has free reign to the health camp if he wants it, which is actually pretty important. Getting that health camp gives you a global HP regen buff. And that's actually super useful when you're talking about defending against this. So for now, the scout and this hedgehog in the air. I mean, yes, the Sovereign's Watch is going to go in and knock the scout down a little bit, but damage being done to the prisms. One collection array is already done. It's about half the income that Kiwian would have otherwise had. Turn this down a little bit. Half the income that Kiwian would have otherwise had, and now that Clem would have otherwise had. Now Kiwian's just diving on top of these Argents. He's going to knock him down. All right, yeah, there's another Argent there, and that makes life a little bit more complicated, but the repair should be fine. And in fact, this is just going to be a repair turd as well. So instead of having to pull bobs and having them do whatever, no, it's a singular repair turret. And that means these hedgehogs are going to live much longer here. Eventually, the arc ship can actually find itself under threat if that's the thing. And remember, because there was no health camp, because Kiwian was not able to get it, because he was not able to take it, now these Argents they have a little bit of HP regen, because the arc ship gives you that spell that allows you to go and effectively drop a salve on the units. But otherwise, not really a lot there. So I really don't, at this point, yes, there is the Sovereign's Watch, and it is powering up here and getting some damage done, but this is just not going to work out at this point. Yeah, we see the Argents, they're showing up, but these Argents are dying as they arrive. One of these hedgehogs not even going to fall down. And at this point, the energy battery is dead. Sovereign's Watch is not going to kill a single unit. And Clem, this build does not work, at least when Clem's doing it to Kiwian, at least on this map. So now we move into game 2, and the aggression coming out of Clem did not work. It didn't work. He moved across, but he lost his collection array, so he was only mining about half as much as he should have. He lost the health camp, which meant that he was just not able to do anything. He didn't have that passive regen. Yes, you have some healing, but that can get canceled by doing damage. So we noticed Kiwian was doing a very nice job of making sure when Clem dropped a heal, immediately it would get targeted. Immediately it would get canceled. Really big deal there. And now well, gonna have to see exactly how this is gonna work out for Clem. He's taking the natural once again. That collection array is there. It's taken about 10% of its HP by the scout. And remember, you can drop Sovereign's Watch. That's a lot of energy. Clem is already overmaxed on energy. He's solidly in the red. That means he's not able to, well, actually, he can't cast top bar. What am I saying? He doesn't have an energy battery. So he's lacking that. He's lacking this energy. He doesn't have top bar. And that's fine in part because, you know, you're okay in this situation. You're not under too much threat. You got your creation chambers up. That's fine. As this energy battery goes and spends all of his energy to make sure the arc ship can heal properly. But Clem's playing this a lot more macro than he did in game number 1. Game 1, runs across the map, loses a collection array, gets very sad, dies. Game 2, this time, he's playing this much more kind of macro Celestials, which is not... We're seeing it more on ladder because I think Celestials are starting to realize that maybe this strike node spam that we see people doing all the time, maybe it's a little too strong and maybe it's going to get nerfed. So you get ahead of it. You get ahead of it. You do something else. You maybe start to figure out what's going to happen after this aggression is no longer allowed. So that's going to be interesting to pay attention to. But for now, you get scans. By the way, having access to scans at the 0th minute of the game, immediately into the game, is kind of insane. It gives you so much vision to go and see if your opponent's doing something cheeky, which, by the way, Kiwian, once again, he's one basing it. And you talk to Vanguard players and they're going to say, well, we can't do anything else. We have to one base it. Otherwise, we just die. Which, fair. You know, that's a reasonable, given the, if we don't one base and our opponent goes for this kind of aggression shield or energy battery strike node spam, yeah, you die. It's very hard to defend. So being incredibly careful here, and you do have options. By the way, Kiwian, as he gets set up for this, he's got this counterattack getting ready to go. We've got all the Argents right here. They're on the choke. They're making sure that nothing can run through the front. But a Bob was sent way off to the left and knocked down a couple trees. These hedgehogs in the middle of the map can absolutely run in through a weird angle and maybe just catch Clem off guard just a tiny bit. As again, he's not managing his energy all that effectively. Not really. He's got some batteries. Maybe he's going to get some more, but he's been consistently overmaxed. 62 out of 60, 32 out of 30. And that's important because, again, not only is this the ability to cast top bar spells, which are super important, but also it's the your structures build faster. Now he's even in the yellow. He needed 2 and he only built 1. When you're in the yellow, your structures build faster than your units build on the structures faster than in the red, but still slow. So now the hedgehogs are going to dive into the main base here, turn on that anti-air thing. This prism is going to get murked. Yeah, bye-bye. That is a lot of income. I don't know the exact number necessarily, but hedgehogs dive in, assassinate a prism, and they're right on out of here. That prism, well, Kiwian's doing a really nice job of keeping the economy of Clem well in check. We saw that in the last game too. It's interesting, right? Because theoretically, the Celestial economy scales faster than any other faction. Yeah, Infernals with Hellspawn Resurgence, maybe, but they, in fact, don't have. They start with 1 less worker than the other than Vanguard does. Like, we can't say than all the other factions because, again, you don't really have workers as Celestials, but they start with 1 less worker. That's really important to note. You have to spend workers to build bases. They do accelerate, certainly, but not to the way that Celestials do when they start with a Morph Core, and that means they get a discount on that second collection array, and they can just take the map, and it's really hard to even find them, much less cancel them. And you can, yeah, I'm not saying their economy is broken, but their economy does scale a lot better than the other factions do. So for now, we got a bunch of Argents on the right side, seeing what they can find, knocking down the health camp, and Clem didn't even get the health camp. That's actually really surprising. Passive health regen on all your units is really nice, but I guess that's what it is. The hedgehog dives in and almost takes down this collection right now. Of course, because you're at the proper energy, 67 out of 90. The collection array is healing. You're fine there. Now, of course, now we're into the mid game, and it's always really interesting to see whether Infernal players ever decide to go past tier 1, or Celestial players ever go past tier 1 tech. You'll hear people like who was it? Jason just the other day was tweeting. He's like, yeah, my key learning is I don't go to tier 3. Tier 2 maybe, but for right now, see, Hedgehogs are just kiting out. They're gonna get the collection right, even though it's healing up. It's not enough. It's dead. And Kree are gonna try to get on top of this, and while they're fast, they do have to stop to go spin. So they're gonna get on top of this eventually. Hedgehogs are not gonna get another snipe. So 4 Hedgehogs, they got a collection array. I think they might have killed a unit or 2, and they got a prism. That is a wonderful Q here. Is now just playing around as much as they can. Meanwhile, Clem getting ready to move on to the other side of the map here. What's he gonna find with this? Clem was one of the better players of the EGC TV Open, one of the better players of a couple other things. So he, again, is very, very good. We know this. He's an incredibly talented RTS player, and again, a very good Stormgate player. We've seen this in the history. We've seen him have these results. But he doesn't really feel all that comfortable on Celestials right now. That kind of is the thing, is 2 of his prisms just floating, never sent back home, and that means Clem's missing on about 1/3 of his economy. Maybe half of his economy at that prime collection, or the main base collection array, and I don't know he ever rebuilt a natural. Seems like he does have a 1/3 though, so there is he has not rebuilt a natural, but he does have a 1/3, so he's still on two arrays, give or take. But now the Hedgehogs are, well, I guess this is 1 Hedgehog now trying to dive in, seeing what they can find, maybe get a prism. The Kree are here, so it's not going to kill this. Nope, bye-bye. There's no way. Yeah, it's not going to get that thing down. So that's the problem. As our observer points out, those prisms in the corner, they are the problem. They are not feeling all that happy. So now Clem does have map control. The Kree spam is a powerful thing. Vanguard can get map control early when it's just Argents, when it's not aggression. If the Celestial players playing on the map, it's a little harder. But now that it's Kree Argent, this army is a lot harder for top to deal with. Kree are incredibly tanky. They're fast. They do a lot of burst damage. You have to kite away from them once they start to blink. It's a bunch of problems. So for now, you just kind of sit there. You go back at home. You have your 2 bases. Maybe get a 3rd base if you want to take the Therium side on the right. Be happy with what you have and start to power up a little bit, because you have exerted pressure in the early game. I mean, look at this setup that Kiwian has. He's got 4 sentry posts in the natural. 3 of them are buzzsaw cannons. 1 of them is just nothing, right? Oh, excuse me. 4 of them are buzzsaw cannons. 1 of them doesn't have anything in it at the moment. I guess you keep that thing alive for now and see exactly what you need, whether it's a repair turret, whether it's a flat cannon, whatever it is, you figure it out. And by the way, again, Clem not in the green. He needs more energy batteries. Not managing that resource all that appropriately, which is, it's fair. If you go and you run out of energy, if you cap out on energy, you can still build units. It's just slower. If you cap out on, say, on supply, which again, internals have a supply, or Celestials have a supply cap of 300. They don't have any intermediary supply caps. You immediately can't build units. You get feedback that you're not building stuff. You don't quite get as much feedback if you're not building enough batteries. And one might argue that, Clem, he's fine in the yellow, the efficiency losses, he's done them. No, you want to be in the green. It really, being able to build more units faster is an incredibly powerful tool. Making sure that you have headspace to go or headroom to go and cast all of the top bear abilities that you want. That's also fantastic. So the question now, though, is top is just on 2 bases. Does he take a 3rd? Does he move out? Because right now, Clem is just dominating the map. He's got himself, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4 bases, I think. Yeah, okay, so the 5th base, the left side base, is just these prisms that have been avoided for forever. So that's not really a thing. That's not accessible right now. That's not something. Man, Clem's economy could be even better. The crazy thing about this, as we take a look at this game, though, Kiwian is on 2 bases. Clem's on 4. Kiwian's still up in supply. Now, granted, some of that is that, well, Celestials need less supply for their economy. Part of that is very true. Part of that is that, you know, some of the supply units that Vanguard have are very supply expensive. Vulcans, of which he has 1, so I guess 2, so we can't even really put the blame there. Vulcans, of which he has 2, are like 8 supply. They're pretty expensive. That being said, Clem, big army on the right side, thinking about diving in as we see these overcharged mobs getting ready to take the 3rd base. We're about 10 minutes in. And I think it is also fair to point out that you don't really have diminishing returns from time as these bases as you do in StarCraft 2. StarCraft 2, you start with what is that? 8 mineral patches. After a period of time, you lose 4, then you lose 4 more. You lose 2, excuse me, 4 workers, and then you lose a couple more, and you, over time, the base mines out. It doesn't just mine out all at once. In Stormgate, you have diminishing returns for number of workers you add to a base, but not for the amount of time. You're gonna mine at the same efficiency, and then it's gonna run out. As Clem spends a scan, and now he has no top bars available. He builds units much slower. Yeah. So that's, again, this is... I think Clem is not really... I don't think he's handling the Clem or the Celestial macro quite as well as I would like to see him do so. Again, he's reactively adding these energy batteries instead of proactively doing so. But Kiwian, he's gotten away with this 3rd base. It's up. It's ready to go. He's got a... the healing turret. It's got a term. There's a word for it. There we go. Med station. He's got a med station up and running, healing all of his units, mechanical, bio, all together. And he's just sitting here. He's like, look, Clem, I know you got the map. Attack into me. I have kinetic redirection on my Lancers. That means they move faster when you attack them. I got quick draw hustle. I got a couple Vulcans. I got med techs. I maybe have... Oh man, Nanoswarm's actually probably really good against Kree because with mechanical units, you take damage there. I've got med techs. I may be getting up to tier 2, tier 3 on my med techs. So you're going to have all this splash damage against the Kree. I'm mass healing everything. Like, you are going to struggle to attack into me. And so Clem doesn't want to. It's interesting, though, as we take a look at this as well. We're not seeing any teching up really coming out of Clem. You talk to some Celestial players, and they're going to say, yeah, teching up is a mistake. You just stay on Kree Argent. It's good enough. And I would say, well, against this army, getting Animators out seems really good. Getting a couple Sabers out, it seems really good. Getting that splash damage on the field, especially as your opponent's turtling, getting siege damage on the field is really powerful. But for now, we're going to have a big attack going in. That's a ton of Kree. This paltry force of Lancers is not going to do anything about that. So now, this is exactly what Kiwian's been worried about. For the last bit of time, a bunch of Kree in his base, they're going to kill just about everything. And I understand how much damage they do to Bobs. That makes sense. The amount of damage they do to structures feels really strong. So for now, Kiwian's effectively all in. That's what we're looking at right now. Kree are going to show up in his main base, his natural, his 3rd. And this is just a base trade coming out of Clem. That's what we're taking a look at right now. And top has to go home. Kiwian has to go home here. He's starting to realize that this is a problem. Bobs are not repairing this Vulcan. I like the position they were in. Argent shelling away, and Clem is not paying attention, and Top, excuse me, is not paying attention with this army. So I think, as we take a look at this, Top is just taking nearly critical damage. These Kree, these 20 Kree, are doing so much. There's no mining in the main base anymore. The Therium refinery is going to go down. And this army in the middle of the map, he's just going to get the central command as well. I mean, again, Kree doing enough damage to light units makes sense, right? They're whatever. But how quickly they kill structures just feels overtuned. I think Kree are probably overtuned. I wouldn't be surprised to see them get changed up a little bit in the next balance patch. But now we're going to see double Sovereign Watch go down. No energy available anymore, though. That's a problem. That's, again, units are going to build slower here. But this big surround of Argents and Kree coming in from every side says, yeah, it doesn't matter anymore. Sovereign Watch on top of everything. Kree just exploding this. And Kiwian is losing pretty much his entire army. Yeah, the supply is there. But again, remember, the supply count to maintain an economy as a Celestial player, not as heavy. And on top of that, the supply is not there anymore. 124 to 65. It's a disaster. Utter disaster here. And now we're seeing the other reason, in part, why Vanguard are really struggling. Because, yeah, okay, in the early game, that pressure is really strong. In the late game, you have to button everything up. You have to play incredibly, or I guess mid-game on, you have to play incredibly defensively. The Kree just ruin your life, and that's exactly what's happening right now. Clem, because his opponent had to stay at home defensively, took the map, built a big army, and yeah, we have some ramparts, and yes, there is ramparts are keeping some structures alive, but there's just not enough damage in these buzzsaw turrets. There's not enough damage anywhere else. And you put all that together, says top is dead. Clem ties it up. We're tied up at 1 apiece. All right, game number 3 here of this series. It's tied up at 1 apiece. We're moving on to a 4-player map, and I know people have said it. I'm gonna say it too. I am so happy that we have 4-player maps again. As Top says, oh, lucky. Because I guess he scouted, yeah, he looks like he scouted west and didn't find anything, and now he's gonna have to go. He's gonna scout eventually, so that's gonna be fine. That is going to be fine. Question is, how does Clem decide to play this game? We've seen games where he gets aggressive. We've seen games where that really didn't work out in game 1. We've seen games where he goes and plays more macro, and he outlasted his opponent. He built a ton of Kree. He sandwiched his opponent in this massive AoE just buzzsaw of doom and knocked him down. And now we're going to see, this seems like it might be a slightly more aggressive option. In fact, there's a build that I heartily do not recommend because it is unethical to play. Absolutely unethical. Is you find where the base is, you run across the map, you put a bunch of morph cores into the main base, and you say, have fun, I'm doing 8 damage a shot. Your Bobs don't take a ton of damage, but they can do enough, and I'm just gonna keep doing that. And it seems like that is exactly what Clem's doing here in this game 3. This is cruel. This is unusual. You as someone on ladder should not be doing this. But in competitive play, I can't really blame him, right? Do what wins. So the answer to this is you got to get some anti-air up. We see this bio lab as quick as possible, which means you got to get some exos out. But now we're seeing the morph cores. They're killing things. They're slowly, ever so slowly, but they are killing things. Even they're, I mean, do they have enough damage to get this exo? Yeah, they do. There's a third. Clem, you'd kill this if you bring the morph core over. Even still, he's got 3 of them. Another overcharge has to get spent. And because the Exo has to run away, because, well, he has to, what this means is that the healing can go up. So these morph cores are, you know, nearly full HP. Exo's getting totally zoned out. Yeah, there's a sentry post, and that's gonna solve problems for the most part. But I mean, this is just pain. Now, the other way we look at this, of course, is, ooh, this Argent can get next to that. Exo is not where it wants to be. As a, yes, observer, we're aware that Clem just forgets stuff, is what the story is, I guess, at the end of the day. Clem forgot his prisms outside of his main base once he pulled them off for quite a while. He's forgotten his 4th morph core. He's going to get the biolab, though, and I don't know what it is, but yeah, there's some things we're looking at how Clem's playing this matchup where it's like, okay, Clem, you can do better. You have the capacity to do better here. So for now, single Argent running across the next level, well, not the next level play, because it's just how Celestials are meant to be played. The next play, of course, is to go and drop a Creation Shaper with one of these morph cores, so it builds quickly, set that at prime, and have a second Argent in there very, very quickly. For now, looks like that's not going to happen, and it looks like this is handled for the most part for top. Yes, I don't think this is going to work anymore. Not with the double sentry post, with the flat cannon, the exos popping out, the repair turret as well. Oh, I guess it's technically the repair-o-matic. I don't think this is going to work out all that much anymore. Clem committed to it. Top held onto it well enough. And yeah, it's going to take a while to break out, likely. But because there's no creation chamber, and because these morph cores aren't being used for a Clem's 3, he's got to be getting ready to expand with one of these morph cores. That's got to be what it is. But there we go. Second flat cannon's done, so the splash damage is there, the long range damage is there, and yeah, this Finally, this is established, and I think this is probably the end of it. Is Clem? Okay, Clem spent a lot of money. I think he's taking Kiwian's natural with a collection array because, yep, because he's a jerk. That's exactly what's happening right now. There's a second line of defense to fall back to. And Clem, well, you got all your morph cores here. One of them got low. You might as well take it from him. So Clem's got... Can our observer stop showing that? I'm getting tilted. This is not okay. This is not very fun. My joy... There's no joy that's being sparked here. So... Anyways, Clem's going to have to continue to cut away a little bit. He has no healing with these units. This is important to remember. He has no way to heal things. That means that whatever damage these Exos take, it sticks. Although he's doing a very nice job here of just kind of playing around on the edge of Sovereign's Watch, knocking the Morph Core down, and getting damage onto the energy batteries. That's all going to be very nice. It's going to be interesting to see exactly how this one turns out. Another Morph Core goes down. So Clem he's making headway. Or, jeez, Vanguard is aesthetically similar to Terran, and Clem is a Terran player, so I'm like so used to saying, yes, he's a Terran player. He's not. Top is making headway against Clem's aggression. There we go. Jeez. And the fact also that Top is on the bottom of the bar and the top of the map, I'm getting got. This is beating me down real hard. But all right, so we're going to see these energy batteries. They're slowly going down. Sovereign's Watch goes down on some of them. But again, this is just slow poke. Exos are really powerful. And I mean, they're just out trading. So now the question is whether this is going to end up being worth it for Clem. Is he doing anything else? Is he going to build enough Argents? And realistically, Argents against these Exos, not what you want. Argents, they kite better. And we're going to see Quick Draw Hustle on the way. So they're going to kite even better in the next minute or so. So it's all about buying time for that as Kiwian, and all about Clem maybe transitioning, maybe getting a Guardian Nexus, maybe getting Kree on the field, something like that to actually get on top of these Exos. Because again, as we're seeing, Exos are infinite kite. They're just really hard to catch. So I'm vaguely of the opinion I think Kiwian has this game. Now, whether that's going to work out or whether that's going to be true or not, I don't properly know. Again, this game is very young. This game is extremely young. There's a lot of things that are new, but now Quick Draw Hustle's done, which means we're maybe at the point here where he's going to be able to run down the ramp. And I know I'm seeing people's like, wow, this gameplay. Yes, Celestials are a little bit strong right now. And yes, this is just Sentry Immortal, or this is just Shield Battery Immortal that Parting would do. This is going to get fixed. But for now, this is how you win games. And, I don't blame Clem for trying. I do think Kiwian has this held at this point. Just getting down the ramp is going to be difficult. Yes, it's 1 base versus 2. Yes, it is 1 base versus 2. And that can be a bit painful. But, I think Kiwian... Yeah, okay, well... he's going to try to power build here. There are enough Argents on the map right now that it's kind of hard to get this power build going. But the Bobs are overcharged. There are 4 of them. He's wasted a lot of money here trying to get this down. I mean, he might truly be at the point where he can just A-move at this point. He'd even just get like a single Lancer to go eat some shots. And this is starting to be not cost effective in the slightest, by the way, for Clem at this point. He runs down with Argents. 2 of them get picked off for really just a turret getting canceled, not even an Exo. It's not cost effective. And so that means that Kiwian, again, he's building the supply lead. And yes, some of the supply lead's fake because it takes a lot less supply to develop the Celestial economy. Sure. Even still. God, our observer is so tilted by this Morph Core. I mean, don't worry, I am as well. I understand, but it's pretty funny. Like, okay, is it doing something now? Is it doing something now? Is it doing something now? It's not doing anything. As the scan's going to get dropped, making sure that these Argents can, again, continue to cancel these sentry posts that are trying to get up here. But what this means is because it's a little bit more exposed, the Argents are going to go down. The link node is dead before it can turn into a strike node. And yeah, this seems to be critical mass at this point. Not enough healing available, not enough spells available for Clem. He's in the red. He can't cast any more top bar abilities, and that means, yeah, it's all gonna go down. All the Argents are dead. It took Kiwian a little bit of time, but there we go. The Arc Ship's dead too. Clem taps out. Kiwian goes up 1. But anyways, we're in a game 4. This is maybe the last game in our series. Top is up 1. And if you like what I do and you want more Stormgate stuff, more StarCraft stuff, I got a cool announcement on the StarCraft front coming in pretty soon. You should go and you should follow this channel. You should also sub to the Twitch channel because that would be pretty cool. But also sub to my YouTube because 5 days a week Stormgate VODs go out. There's a $2,000 tournament plus whatever people decide to go and donate through Matcherino. Exclamation mark Matcherino, by the way. Decide to donate to the prize pool. That's at the end of the month. So that'll be on this channel. That'll be on this YouTube channel. Sub and do all that fun stuff we're talking about. As we're going to see Clem do that broken build up he tried to do because he got vertical spawn in the last game. Didn't really work out. This time, though, he is much, much closer, and he has not forgotten a morph core like he did in game number 1. So energy batteries going down right on top of things. This time there's a creation chamber on top as well. So all this put together means that this attack is going to be far more effective. Far more effective. This Bob's not going to go down to the start because it's being mass repaired. Yes, there's a biolab down. So eventually there will be something. But because this is 3 morph cores at this timing, not 2, because it's 3 morph cores and soon to be 4, this means that getting the sentry post up is going to be a lot harder. Keeping these Bobs alive is a lot harder. I mean, I'm of the opinion right now that this build is pretty uncounterable on Jagged Maw. I think in general Jagged Maw is I mean, the words of Tasteless the words of Tastosis, this is the worst. This is one of the worst RTS maps, and I don't think that's all that controversial. And I say this as someone who actually really does genuinely enjoy Stormgate. I just think Jagged Maw is really bad. So morph cores are not quite out of range, as we are, again, the overcharge is making this a little bit easier to deal with. Kiwian is going to get that sentry post up. He's going to get the flat cannon in there, and that does force, force these away. But it's a little bit harder now. Life gets a little bit dicier. There's only a single exo done. They are expensive, and you got to kind of rotate the exo between the two. So doesn't really feel all the best. And in fact, I think the exo just went down. It tried to go find its way to the sentry post defending the Illuminite mine, and that just didn't work out. Now Argents are starting to hit the field, so hey, that's fun. Argents right next to the energy battery as well, making sure they do bonus damage. They're gonna hang back for a second, start to go and get themselves healed right on up, because the damage is not sticking, because again, the arc ship has that spell, and now the biolab is just about dead. Yeah, oh, there's a bug. I don't know what the bug is. Are we gonna remake this? Your top's tapping out. This may be a remake. We'll see. If not, though, we're gonna tie it up at 2 apiece. All right, seems we are tied up at 2 apiece here. I think Kiwian realized that even if there was a bug, the bug was not preventing him from winning that game. The morph core spam was too strong. Again, that's something that I'm 99% sure is gonna get nerfed. Pretty sure that's going to get nerfed eventually, but for now, it's one of those things where you can simultaneously believe that something is too strong. I believe that build is too strong. I think that's something that was overtuned. It was an oversight, and it's kind of one of those things. It's interesting because you're sitting there in the Discord and watching how the devs talk about it. Balancing is a difficult thing, and not just because, well, players are going to be far more creative than you ever will be. That's very true. But also, there are only so many eyes on a game. If Fresh Iron has is like 40 employees, something like that. No, they're a small business. They're not Blizzard size, certainly. They have access to high level players, and they can ask them things, but they don't have. Not everyone is a super high level player, certainly not. And there's also this interesting thing you deal with. It doesn't matter what it is. When you're designing something, you assume. It's really hard to get yourself out of the mental paradigm of this is how this thing is going to get used. I have designed a morph core to give defense early, to build structures, and have some flexibility there. My first thought is not going to be that I'm going to send it across. I'm going to build 5 of them, send it across the map, and harass away the only Luminite line before the Vanguard player has anti-air. That's not the first thought. So having that flexibility to say, that lateral thing, and to say, okay, this is how are the players going to break it? You're not going to get everything. So that's why it's so useful in part that the devs have this Discord, that this is early access, that this is getting tested. They do have access to a lot of players that are high level, that have very strong opinions about the game. I've been in not even discords with the dev, in conversation with the devs, just, you know, talking to high level players because I'm friends with a decent amount of them. And, you know, again, they're going to have very strong opinions about the game. I thought it was really funny. I was talking to someone in the last playtest when Vanguard was kind of clearly the strongest race, and they were winning a lot of their games as Vanguard, and they were just complaining to me about how the other two races were too strong. And it's like, well, no. Empirically, you're wrong. Both in terms of overall ladder win rate, in terms of your particular win rate, just in terms of everything. But, you know, perceptions are what they are. So for now, Natural's down. Top has that one all set up, and this is the aggression coming out from Clem once again. Now, these collection chambers are on Clem's side of the map. He's not proxying super close, but he does have a couple archers across the map. Again, no shield, no energy batteries with this, nothing like that. This is, I guess we can call it light pressure compared to the heavy pressure that we've seen in a couple other games. And he's just going to poke with these archons, building them as quickly as possible, getting as much damage as possible, and more importantly, just forcing Kiwian to stay at home, because that's how Clem won his first game in this series. That's how he won game 2. That's what it was, where he went, you know, he took some damage to the hedgehogs, and that was annoying. But then he, you know, once he started to get enough, certainly once he got enough Kree out, he just did not allow Kiwian out. And then Kiwian thought he had this critical mass, looked to run across the map, and he got backstabbed at 3 different spots by a bunch of hedgehogs, and that is not exactly how you're supposed to win a game of Stormgate. I mean, I almost said a game of StarCraft. That's habits for you. That is absolutely habits for you. But for now, Kree, they're going to start to, or excuse me, these Argents are going to start to creep around a little bit. And again, if we talk about trying to be active on the map, this camp they're taking is probably the most effective one. As we can see how little damage Argents, if Argents don't have energy, they do so little damage. But getting this creep camp, not only does it give the healing or the healing zone, it means that your units have a percentage-based heal. I think it's percentage-based. It might be just straight up, but have a heal going just across the map. And no units have passive heal. You know, it's funny. You would think, and again, this is just me just being used to Zerg. You would think that you would go and you know, biological units, demons would kind of auto heal a little bit. There's no passive regen there, and certainly I wouldn't expect the other two. You know, maybe Celestials would expect to have some level of automatic repair, automatic healing, because they are super advanced biokinetic, whatever. I don't know. Regardless, this is what we're looking at. Regardless, yeah, to get any sort of passive healing, you have to have a healing unit, or you got to take the healing camp. So that's going to go out really nice for Clem as we get into this game 5. And again, Kiwi, and he's just like, Kree are scary. I got a turtle. And that is a very fair statement. Last game, he almost got to the point where he was going to be able to move out and handle what he had to. That's, man, he got the scout. Now, the other interesting thing as we talk about Secluded Grove here is there's a center of the map. There are 2 Luminite there are 2 Luminite bases, 2 Therian bases, or 2 patches, I guess. 2 Luminite patches, 2 Therian patches. And they are very easy for Infernals, or excuse me, I'm going to get it right eventually, for Celestials to take. They're very easy for Celestials to take. Because again, they have access to this. They can float things right on over. They can get across a little bit earlier. And when you have map control, technically it makes sense. On the flip side, it also doesn't. Because if you think about it, the benefit of the central base is you can put 1 base down and get 4 resource patches, 2 Therium, 2 Luminae. That'll again, that's going to show that is access to everything. And if that's the case, well, that doesn't really work for Celestials all that well. You can put an arc ship there, I guess, but to mine out of efficiently mine out of a Luminite base, they want to put a collection array there, so you still have to put 2 collection arrays down to benefit. So it's not quite as efficient as it is for an Infernal or Vanguard player to take that spot. So there is that one going for it. As both players are kind of realizing that they do not want to take a fight right now. And there's plenty of creep camps to take. So obviously Kiwian doesn't want to move on the map career out. That's just pain. It's not worth it. Clem doesn't want to move out because he's able to scan this setup. He says, there are 5 sentry posts here. I don't want to take this fight. That sounds horrible. So that means that we're going to see, theoretically, I thought we saw top going out to take a third base, but I guess there was a singular Kree there and he got too scared. He was too scared. He got to, no, he was just, okay, that's what it was. He was just sending the Bobs to go and take that Therium refinery and start to develop his tech economy just a little bit more. And with that, what do you want to go for? Now, actually, as I say that, on Lost Hope as well. Same idea, where you go and you have 2 Therium mining so you can kind of get some Vulcans out, things like that. We saw that, again, on Lost Hope. But now the Arch and Kree spam is here. And Kiwian is going to struggle to take a third base, I think. That is just the downside of this setup. Quick draw hustle, as our observer's pointing out. So we're lacking some upgrades a little bit, just trying to build a big army. Kree are going to try to dive in, and they're not going to get much of anything. The pull is there in time. But what we do need to see, I do think we need to see top start to control more space on the map. I don't know if that's building more sentry posts forward and doing that one. I don't know what it is. Also, man, if Kree are going to have this insane amount of, or not if Kree, if Celestials are going to have this insane amount of map control, the fact that they can just go and steal 3 creep camps immediately, pretty strong. So I love the, or whatever it's called. I can't remember the top or ability's name, but the Ascension. Sending the creeps to heaven is fantastic. It's really funny. But what it also means is you can do exactly what Clem's doing right now. Get vision for a second, cast it on 3 different camps, get this massive financial injection, go and use it on all the resource camps, and then you don't have to worry about taking the stronger mobs, and you just take the entire map. Clem has the entire map right now. He's got more mining, he's got more collection arrays, and he's got a resource camp. He's got a Therium camp. He's taking all this money. He really, map control is just very strong in this game, and because of how strong the dichotomy or the disparity in map control is in Stormgate in this matchup in Celestials versus Vanguard right now, and again, I expect this to change. We're gonna get a patch. At one point, Gerald on the subreddit said this week. Now it may be a little bit more, maybe they don't want to commit, maybe it's next week, I don't know, but soon, next week or two, hopefully that's going to handle a lot of this, going to enable a little bit more active play, shut down on some of the shenanigans that I'm looking for. But for now, it's just really hard for Vanguard to get on the map at this point. Just really hard for Vanguard to get on the map at this point. So, and again, I'm not super familiar with this matchup right now. Certainly not in the late game. I've been trying to catch some streams. I moved in to where I'm living right now like 5 days ago, and I have been very busy getting caught up ever since. So I've been trying to do as much as I can. I played a couple games, but I don't really play Celestials. So I'm interested to see how this works out. And the point is I don't know what you build into as Vanguard. I have some ideas, and I think Atlases are one of those ideas. This ability to hot pickup doesn't have a great answer. You can move into scythes. I don't know really quite how good they are. This collection array is going to go down. That's pretty nice. You're going to get a second one too. You can kind of lift up. Do you not have time to lift up? I could have sworn the change was that it was a 40 seconds to redeploy once you did that, but I guess, yeah, I guess he's trying to lift up and he's dead. Okay, well, that's 2 collection arrays going down. That's something, as the Bobs are going to get overcharged, get pulled out a little bit, and Rampart goes down as well. So I think this base should stay alive, even with the Kree and how much crazy damage they do to structures. It really is insane. But now we got this Atlas on the field. Kree, you're not dropping beneath that one, but there's a defensive Atlas at home. You have to start. Kree are so fast that you kind of have to lead them with shots just a little bit. Big surround coming in on every side, and the friendly fire from the Atlases are going to have a lot to say about that one. I'm Actually not sure. What is that? Oh, what's that? Anyways, doesn't matter. Everything is going. Oh, those are nanoswarms. Okay, and nanoswarms goes down. Everything is dead though. It's a full surround from Clem. He knocks down top down to the lower bracket here. Free spams are very good, and it seems like Kiwian at the moment, 5 days into Stormgate, doesn't have a good answer. I love some of his defensive answers though against the crazy attacks that Clem was going for with these builds that we've heard a lot of complaints about them being too strong. Well, at the very least, it seems Kiwian has a good solution to those. He doesn't really seem to have a great solution to the creep spam idea. Not at this point. Top will tap out, and Clem moves on to the next round in the upper bracket.